Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with the same pulse, the same drive, the same confidence you had in your 20s. No more disappointment, no more frustration, just pure unshakable strength where it counts most. Now picture this, a simple sequence of stretches you can do in the comfort of your home. No pills, no devices, no awkward doctor visits, yet the results feel nothing short of miraculous. You see, Dr. Andrews, a leading urologist with over 30 years of experience, once treated thousands of men who believed their prime was behind them. They'd tried every supplement on the market and endured countless prescriptions only to find themselves back at square one. Then one day he noticed a trend: the men who embraced daily mobility, worked those easy stretches to wake up tight muscles and restore vital blood flow, saw the most dramatic improvements in their erections. Today I'm going to share exactly what Dr. Andrews discovered. 5 targeted stretches, each designed to open up your hips, loosen your spine, and pump fresh, oxygen-rich blood straight to your pelvic floor. These moves aren't just about flexibility. They're about reigniting the internal plumbing that tends to slow down as we age. By the time you finish watching, you'll know why so many men over 60 report firmer, longer-lasting erections without ever touching a pill bottle again. And the best part, each stretch takes less than a minute. You can do them before brushing your teeth, during your coffee break, or even while your favorite TV show is on. But first, let's dive into the real reason erections weaken with age and how tight, neglected muscles are silently sabotaging your performance. Once you understand the why, the how becomes effortless. So stick with me for the next few minutes and get ready to rediscover the power you thought you'd lost. Because feeling 20 again isn't a fantasy, it's one stretch away. I'm Dr. Henry Carter, a board-certified urologist who spent the last 3 decades helping men reclaim their vitality and confidence. Over the years, I've seen every pill patch and gadget imaginable, but I've also witnessed a quieter revolution. The men who prioritize simple daily stretches consistently outperform those chasing quick fixes. Early in my career, I treated a patient named Robert, a retired engineer in his late 60s. He was skeptical of stretching routines, convinced nothing short of prescription medication could restore his strength. Yet after just 2 weeks of incorporating targeted mobility work into his mornings, he called me in astonishment. His erections were firmer, his energy was higher, and for the first time in years, he felt truly unstoppable again. That experience shifted my entire approach. I dove into the anatomy, the blood flow mechanics, and the neuroscience behind muscle tension. What I discovered was remarkable tight hips, stiff hamstrings, and a constricted pelvic floor can all throttle the very nerves and vessels you need for a rock-solid performance. In this video, I'll guide you through 5 essential stretches I've refined over countless patient success stories, stretches you can do anywhere, anytime. No fancy equipment, no bulky gym setup, just your body, a little space, and a willingness to move. So whether you're brand new to stretching or you've dabbled before, rest assured these moves are safe, effective, and backed by real clinical results. And as a urologist, I'm not just talking theory, I'm delivering tried and true techniques that get results in men over 60 every single day. Ready to meet your body halfway? Let's uncover the hidden culprits behind age-related decline so you can target them head-on and start feeling decades younger. Why erections weaken with age? The hidden culprits as we get older, it's not just time stealing our strength, it's a combination of silent saboteurs lurking in our own bodies. First, consider blood flow. An erection depends on a rush of oxygen-rich blood into the corpora cavernosa. But tighten the muscles around your hips and lower back, and you're effectively pinching the hose that delivers that life-giving flow. Next, think about posture. Decades of sitting at a desk, in a car, on the couch gradually lock up your hip flexors and tighten your lower spine. That stiffness pushes on the pudendal nerve and restricts key pelvic vessels. The result, less sensation, slower engorgement, and a performance that feels like it's running on a trickle rather than a torrent. Then there's the pelvic floor itself, the unsung hero of every strong erection. When your glutes, hamstrings, and core are weak or tight, the pelvic floor bears the brunt of daily wear and tear. Over time, it can become imbalanced, underengaged, or simply fatigued, unable to contract and relax with the fluidity required for sustained hardness. Hormones play their part too. Testosterone levels naturally wane with age, influencing muscle tone and vascular health. But here's the key: movement and flexibility can actually boost local hormone response and nitric oxide production, the very molecule responsible for dilating blood vessels. In other words, the right stretches don't just free up your muscles, they prime your body for a stronger biochemical response. Finally, we can't ignore stress. Mental tension shows up physically in tight shoulders, a stiff back, and a clenched pelvic floor. By introducing deliberate mobility work, you not only release physical restrictions, but also calm the nervous system, reducing cortisol and allowing the parasympathetic rest and digest state that fosters arousal. Put it all together and you have a perfect storm. Constricted vessels, pinched nerves, weakened support structures, hormonal decline, and stress-induced tension, all conspiring to make erections feel softer, slower, and less reliable. The good news: these factors are reversible. By targeting the exact muscles and connective tissues at play, we can restore healthy blood flow, reactivate the pelvic floor, and reset your body's ability to respond. That's where our 5 essential stretches come in. They're designed to open the gates, wake up the engines, and reboot the system so you can experience firmer, longer-lasting erections without a single pill. Next, let's jump into the first move, the pelvic tilt with diaphragmatic breath. Stretch number 1, pelvic tilt with diaphragmatic breath. Let's begin with the pelvic tilt with diaphragmatic breath, a foundational move that gently mobilizes your lower spine and primes your pelvic region for optimal blood flow. Start by lying on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Rest your arms by your sides, palms facing down, and allow your head to relax into the mat. Now take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, drawing the breath down into your belly so you feel your lower ribs expand. As you exhale through pursed lips, gently engage your core and tuck your pelvis under, pressing your lower back lightly into the ground. You'll notice your tailbone tilting toward your heels as the small of your back flattens. On the next inhale, release the tilt and allow your pelvis to return to a neutral position, letting a small arch form in your lower back. Feel the stretch along your hip flexors and lower spine as you breathe. Continue this inhale, tilt, exhale cycle at a steady, unhurried pace, syncing movement with breath. As you repeat this flow, visualize fresh, oxygen-rich blood being drawn from your diaphragm down into the pelvic floor, waking up the deep muscles that support a strong, sustained erection. Each tilt engages the transverse abdominis, the hidden core stabilizer that works in tandem with your pelvic floor muscles, while the diaphragmatic breath enhances nitric oxide production and vessel dilation. Pay attention to how your lower back and hips respond. If you feel any pinching behind your hips or tension in your lower spine, ease off the range of motion until the movement feels smooth and controlled. Aim for 10 to 12 perfect reps, focusing on a slow inhalation of 2 to 3 seconds and an exhalation of the same duration. By the end of the set, you should sense a warming sensation around your pelvis and a subtle release in your hip flexors. That warming isn't just muscle, it's your blood vessels opening, nerves coming alive, and your body signaling, "I'm ready." Keep this quality of breath-driven movement in mind as we move on to the next stretch, where we'll open the hips even further with a standing lunge. Stretch number 2, standing hip flexor. Lunge next up is the standing hip flexor lunge, a powerful move to pry open your hips and relieve pressure on the nerves that run into your pelvic floor. Begin by standing tall, feet hip-width apart. Step your right foot forward about 2 to 3 feet, enough that when you bend your front knee, your shin stays perpendicular to the floor. As you sink into the lunge, tuck your pelvis under slightly by engaging your core and glutes. You should feel a gentle stretch along the front of your left hip and thigh. Keep your torso upright, shoulders stacked over hips, and gaze forward. Now breathe in deeply through your nose, filling your belly. Then exhale as you press your right knee firmly into the floor and drive your hips forward, accentuating that stretch in your left hip flexor. Maintain tension in your glute muscles to protect your lower back and ensure the pull is focused on the front of your hip. On your next inhale, release the forward drive just enough to feel the muscles relax, then exhale and press forward again, each time sinking a bit deeper. Aim for 8 to 10 controlled breaths, sinking each press with a full exhale. Feel the difference. Tight hip flexors can clamp down on the femoral artery and the nerves that feed your erection center. By opening these muscles, you're clearing the pathway for blood to surge freely, while also reducing compensatory tension in your lower back and pelvic floor. After your final press, hold the deepest stretch for a count of 3 deep breaths. Inhale to fill the belly. Exhale to deepen the opening, then gently release and step back to center. Take a moment to shake out any residual tension, noticing how much more space you've created in your hips. Repeat the entire sequence on the opposite side, stepping your left foot forward and lunging into the right hip. Remember to keep each movement deliberate and your focus on connecting breath with motion. Once both sides are complete, you'll feel your hips feeling lighter, your pelvic region primed, and your mind engaged in the process of restoring natural blood flow. With this lunge under your belt, you're well on your way to unlocking firmer, longer-lasting erections, one stretch at a time. Stretch number 3, seated forward fold, hamstring release. Let's move into the seated forward fold, a deceptively simple stretch that targets your hamstrings and lower back, 2 areas that when tight can pull on your pelvic floor and restrict blood flow. Find a stable bench chair or the floor with a folded blanket under your sit bones. Sit tall at the edge, legs extended, straight in front of you, toes pointing toward the ceiling. Begin by inhaling deeply, lengthening your spine from your tailbone to the crown of your head. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and slide your hands down your legs, shins, ankles, or toes only as far as you can go without rounding your back. Think long spine, not fold in half. With each inhale, lift slightly through the chest. With each exhale, gently lean forward a bit deeper, feeling a safe, even stretch along the back of your thighs and through the sacrum. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your neck neutral, gazing toward your toes or the space between your shins. Aim for 6 to 8 breath-driven repetitions. Inhale to reset your posture, exhale to fold. On the final exhale, hold the deepest comfortable position for 3 full breaths, each inhale expanding your rib cage, each exhale softening into the stretch. Why this matters: tight hamstrings tug on the pelvis, tilting it backward, which can slacken the pelvic floor and weaken erectile function. By releasing that tension, you restore proper pelvic alignment and create an unobstructed channel for blood to flow where you need it most. As you rise from the fold, press through your hands to lift your torso, stacking each vertebra back into a neutral position. Notice how your lower back feels lighter and your legs more limber, signals that you're undoing years of sedentary strain. Once you're seated upright, give your thighs a gentle shake and prepare for our next move, the butterfly groin stretch, where we'll open the inner thighs and further enhance circulation to your most vital areas. Stretch number 4, butterfly groin. Stretch seated on the floor or a firm surface. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall open to the sides like a butterfly's wings at rest. Draw your heels as close to your groin as is comfortable and sit up tall, stacking your spine. Rest your hands gently on your ankles or shins. Inhale deeply, lengthening through your spine. Exhale and press your knees toward the floor using your elbows or forearms, just enough to feel a solid stretch in your inner thighs without forcing discomfort. Keep your tailbone grounded and chest lifted to protect your lower back. On each inhale, imagine creating space between your hip joints. On each exhale, allow gravity to gently deepen the stretch. Perform 8 to 10 breath-synced presses, holding the final press for 3 deep breaths. Inhale to expand your rib cage. Exhale to relax your inner thighs further. This butterfly stretch targets the adductor muscles, which can become tight from years of sitting and restrict blood flow to the perineum. By freeing these inner thigh muscles, you unclog a vital channel for circulation, improving the engorgement capacity of your erectile tissues. As you release the stretch and draw your knees back up, notice the increased mobility in your hips and the gentle warmth in your groin, clear signs that blood is flowing more freely. A quicker flow here translates directly to firmer, faster erections when the moment calls for it. Shake out your legs, stand up, and get ready for the bridge pose with pelvic lift, our next move, to actively engage your glutes and further activate the pelvic floor. Stretch number 5, Bridge pose with pelvic lift. Now let's fire up the posterior chain with the bridge pose and pelvic lift, a dynamic move that not only stretches your hip flexors, but actively engages your glutes and pelvic floor for maximum blood pumping power. Lie on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor, heels close enough that you can just brush your fingertips against them when your arms are by your sides. Take a deep inhale, then as you exhale, press firmly through your heels and engage your glutes and hamstrings to lift your hips toward the ceiling. Imagine squeezing a grape between your cheeks. This conscious glute engagement protects your lower back and focuses the lift on your hips and pelvic floor. Your body should form a straight line from shoulders to knees with your core actively drawing in and up. Hold at the top for a full breath cycle. Inhale to brace your core, then exhale as you imagine drawing fresh blood up from your legs into your pelvic basin. Feel the stretch in your hip flexors and the activation of your glutes and lower back muscles. On the next inhale, maintain the lift. On the exhale, pulse your hips upward an inch or two, each pulse reigniting the engagement and further opening your pelvic vessels. Aim for 12 to 15 controlled pulses, syncing each lift with an exhale. Then hold the highest position for 3 seconds, breathing steadily, sensing a deep warming in your glutes, lower back and pelvic floor. This warmth signals increased circulation and muscle activation, exactly where you want it for stronger, longer-lasting erections. After the hold inhale to prepare, then exhale to lower your hips slowly down to the mat, vertebra by vertebra, keeping tension in your core until you reach the starting position. Notice how your hips feel both more open and more powerful. This combination of stretch and activation is what primes your pelvic floor for peak performance. As you rest for a moment, take a few deep breaths and feel the afterglow of increased blood flow. You've just engaged the glutes, hamstrings, and core in a way that strengthens the very foundation of your erection mechanics. Next, we'll cap off our routine with a bonus seated spinal twist to release any lingering tension in your lower back and hips and ensure your body is fully unlocked for optimal function. Bonus move, seated spinal twist. Now for a final flourish, our bonus move, the seated spinal twist. This stretch not only releases any lingering tension in your lower back, but also frees up your entire torso, further enhancing pelvic circulation. Find a sturdy chair or sit on the edge of a bench with your feet planted hip-width apart. Sit tall, lengthening through your spine, and place your right hand on the outside of your left thigh. Inhale deeply to expand your rib cage. As you exhale, gently twist your torso to the left, using your hand on the thigh for leverage. Keep your hips squared forward and your sitting bones grounded. On each inhale, create space between each vertebra. On each exhale, deepen the twist just enough to feel a firm stretch without forcing. Hold for 3 full breath cycles. Inhale to find length, exhale to relax into the rotation. Feel the muscles along your spine, hips, and even your obliques unwinding. Release the twist on an inhale, returning to center. Then switch sides, right hand on right thigh, twisting to the right. Again, sync each movement with your breath, holding the peak stretch for 3 cycles. This spinal twist not only decompresses your vertebrae and frees tight back muscles, but also massages your internal organs, stimulating blood flow throughout your pelvic basin. That means even more oxygen-rich circulation, reaching your erectile tissues, setting the stage for firmer, more reliable performance. With this final move, your entire posterior chain and core are unlocked, your pelvic floor reactivated, and your body primed for peak function. You're now equipped with 5 essential stretches, plus a bonus twist tools you can use daily to reclaim the strength and confidence you deserve. Let's finish strong with expert tips and a quick recap to lock in. Expert tips and common mistakes. As you integrate these stretches, keep a few key pointers in mind to maximize results and avoid setbacks. First, always prioritize form over depth. Rushing deeper into a stretch without proper alignment can pinch nerves or overstrain muscles, undermining your progress. Next, focus on breathing. Shallow chest breaths won't deliver the same benefits. Use slow diaphragmatic inhales to draw oxygen deep into your torso and full controlled exhales to relax into each movement. This breath movement syncing not only enhances the stretch, but also stimulates nitric oxide production, a critical factor for vessel dilation and stronger erections. Be consistent, aiming for just 5 minutes of stretching each morning or evening will trump sporadic hour-long sessions. Your body responds best to regular, gentle mobilization. Avoid these common mistakes: holding your breath during a challenging stretch, bouncing in and out of positions, or forcing past pain into injury. If you feel sharp discomfort, back off to a milder version and build gradually. Finally, listen to your body's cues. If a particular stretch aggravates an old injury or feels unstable, modify the range of motion or try a prop like a cushion under your hips to maintain safety and effectiveness. With these expert tips, you'll ensure every rep counts and keep your progress steady and sustainable. Your 5-minute daily routine recap. Here's how to tie it all together into one efficient 5-minute ritual you can do every day. Pelvic tilt with diaphragmatic breath. 12 breath-synced reps. Standing hip flexor lunge, 8 to 10 breaths per side. Seated forward fold, 6 to 8 breath-driven folds, hold on final exhale. Butterfly groin stretch, 8-10 presses, hold on final breath. Bridge pose with pelvic lift, 12-15 pulses in a 3-second hold. Bonus seated spinal twist, 3 breaths per side to finish. Start with the pelvic tilts to awaken your core and pelvic floor. Then open your hip flexors, hamstrings, and inner thighs. Follow with the bridge to actively engage glutes and pump blood upward, and close with the spinal twist to decompress your lower back and maximize circulation. You can run through this sequence in just 5 minutes, perfect before breakfast, during a coffee break, or winding down in the evening. Commit to this routine daily for 4 weeks, and you'll give your body the consistent mobilization and blood flow boost it needs to restore firmer, longer-lasting erections. Conclusion: you've just unlocked the blueprint for stronger, more reliable erections. No pills required. Commit to these stretches and rediscover the confidence and vitality you thought were lost. If you found this routine helpful, subscribe for more doctor-approved tips, hit like to show your support, and share your progress in the comments below. Here's to feeling decades younger, one stretch at a time.